The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed. Only the names have been changed. Here, only the names.
So the first thing I want to do is just welcome you all to New Beginnings Christian Church, and I want to share a few things. I'm Pastor Andre Miller, for those who do not know me, and this is something that I do often. Many people have conversations after things happen, but I believe we have to have a continual dialogue to have relationships and build trust and transparency. So as we build trust and transparency, again, that means that we have to have continual conversations as a community with those who serve, those who lead, and those who are in offices, right? Political offices or offices where they're appointed. Whatever the case may be, it is a great thing for us to have continual dialogue and conversation. So that is the purpose of tonight. Again, we got a whole bunch of donuts in the back, so you may be able to take 2 or 3. Chief Solberg said he's taking half of one. All right, thank you. All right, so I got a couple more questions, and then I'll kind of get back to this agenda that we have here because we're winding down. Why are officers allowed to resign instead of being punished when they were found to have violated policy and proper procedures, etc.?
I'll go first again if you want.
Sure.
Since I just did a few of these. So my philosophy is that we continue on with the investigation. If someone chooses to resign or if they're retirement eligible, they can do so. But we still follow through with the case, and we will adjudicate it and put what we would have recommended. And in addition to that, if it qualifies, then it is, in addition to that, internally, we would send it to the county attorney to see if it requires a ready list review and or to AZ Post to see if their certification needs to be reviewed. And that can be anything from criminal to just misconduct that those are sent through.
And I find this question a little puzzling because what do we hope to achieve by holding someone accountable? My hunch is that the basis of the question is that there was an allegation of misconduct, that there will then be an investigation, and then there's a finding. And the finding is typically discipline. Discipline designed to improve performance and hold folks accountable. What this sounds like is, what do we hope to achieve? If the person's separated from service as a police officer, then sometimes that's the very best outcome. Whether they resign or they are terminated, the result is the same. They're not a police officer given and entrusted with the authorities that they're given as a police officer. So they can separate service anytime they choose.
Because it's not like military. It's not like the military, so you can't make someone stay until you get done with your investigation, right? So let me add something to this question real quick. So when you do find that the person does resign, like you said, Chief Solberg, if a person does resign, they say, hey, I'm done, or I'm going to retire, I'm in the midst of some mess, I retire, I'm resigning, I'm quitting. If you find out that they did something that was totally egregious, if they did something that was totally outside of policy, do you send a recommendation that their AZ Post certification is suspended? No. Or do you just send your findings of the investigation to AZ Post and they look at it and say...
So for my agency, we complete the investigation with everything we have. Now sometimes if someone leaves, I may not have their side of it if they resign prior to me interviewing them or my investigators. So I will provide AZ Post and or if necessary the county attorney with the complete internal affairs file. If they ask for additional information, then just like any other public records request, we would comply with it. But what I'm doing is I don't tell AZ Post what my recommendation is. I tell them what we found and what we did, and then it's up to them how they want to proceed.
Okay. Did you have something else you want to add to that? Or?
No, I think one of the great things we have in Arizona, and by great I mean high accountability, in Arizona, the Arizona Peace Officer Standards and Training certifies police officers. They can suspend or revoke one's ability to be a peace officer in Arizona. Arizonans do not know how unique that is. California has 99,000 individuals that are governed by California Post. California does not have this same system. And so what we have in Arizona is remarkable. It is remarkable. I think it holds the profession to a very high standard, and it shouldn't be ignored that Arizona Post sees their responsibility, well, they take their responsibility very seriously to continue with someone as a peace officer, to suspend or revoke.
Chief, did you want to say something?
Yeah, we do the same as Chief Solberg. We finish a case if somebody is going to resign and they're in the middle of a disciplinary process. We finish the investigation. Now, whether we've interviewed them or not, or they've got their side of the story, we'll finish it. That's all fact-finding. We bottle that up, and depending on what we find, if it's a sustained complaint, then we go through that process of giving the information over to Post. Not on every case, but on certain cases, and depending on what the finding is. We do that because, like Chief Moyer said, that's their own separate body. They have nothing to do with the Mesa Police Department. They take that set of facts and then they make a determination on the certification of the officer. So that we go through the same process.
All right, so Jim, I want to tell you your other question here. I'm actually going to ask you for your email address because this actually requires a lengthy response, okay? So this one requires a lengthy response, so I'm going to need your email address. And I want to make sure it gets answered. I'm going to just say what the question is so you guys will know, but I'm going to actually answer it for them through email. It says, we are the people not allowed to decide if an officer is criminally charged. In other words, why are you allowed to investigate yourselves, government agencies, investigating government agencies, etc.? So again, this requires a long answer, if you will, so I'm going to make sure you get the answer to this question. Okay, I'm going to consult with them.
You want to make
a statement around that? Absolutely.
I think one of the things that has been proven over and over and over again is that those cities that have civilian review boards that determine the range of discipline for a police officer versus those that have a sworn police officer or body of police officers that determine how much time is going to be served by a police officer in terms of a suspension. This is what has been found, that police officers are far harder on their peers in terms of discipline and in terms of accountability than civilian review boards are. I just served on a panel a few weeks ago with an incredible man who was in charge of the LAPD Civilian Review Board, and he gave a number of statistics that supported this very claim that I'm making, that police officers are harder on each other in terms of discipline than civilians are on police officers. And I think there's a body of work that proves that as well.
Did you want to say anything else? Okay. So